Hello, the species value nature system. Here, your species coach. For example, anywhere where a hurricane hits is where we can counter where the species volume is being exploited per what's exploiting value, what is before ground, as the value of the ground, as active body of value discernment value, and that as, what is it called? Progression's value as our volume. What set up color with the laws here before America knew that we are our volume, and that we are as a quality of fact treatment nature in relationship to the engineering of positive. That is to the nature of volume. That identity nature is the nature of volume, as a sequence nature, as a simultaneous nature, as value, as one that's juxtaposed with the nature, each of the complete natures of identities of value of your body. See, we have this one course that is the same shared as its body onto itself, and we're contributing to a relationship to that complete identity. Even though we're only a semi-nature inside a semi-nature, that complete identity. It is one nature of volume filling, one nature of identity of relationship to itself. This is obfuscated in intersciences. Worse than obfuscated, because this is the identity of ground. So that's what Little Rap Guy and Master Sky and Little Rap Guy and Friends is about, for example, too. We'll coach the species coach. So in other words, we have to monetize. You know, we have to admit this, and we admit this with the New York game, because you know we're gonna need. See, we're gonna look totally different ways at space and as means to afford things unfathomable. All we have to do is admit everywhere is below standards for zoning laws and force it bottom up. The only way we can do that is per help with what everyone wants, because we're a nature of its own identity as a nature of volume. See, but now we're on a tactically from ulterior from this value nature systems. Because the devil, an organized crime method, knew that if it could get everyone, modern nations, defending identities of the law, identities of reaction to forced reacted to negative value nature, progressions, acts and natures, acts like predicate acts, natures like criminal insidiousness nature, and like the act itself of a predicate act. These are organized crime terms. And this is how our American history is about organized crime. We have recorded physical delusions, and we have recorded criminally foreign influenced the law, privately and interbranch, originally and still. And that was used, for example, also private, like shared, like with the term bullying is recorded, used for an identity theft method, attaching kids and each age of fact treating nature interfamily to fake relationships to others with complete strangers and juxtaposed overt criminal enterprises through time. And this is with precedence. So this is where it keeps a victim. This is forgiveness is for this. To emit through the theater forced by all a quality of fact treatment nature that is able to use correlation. See, we're in a before everyone was blasted out by the hurricane, for example, which this is a system knew that it's that everyone. This is a method of keeping everyone self-cultivated, blaming the real cause. In other words, valuing it. because not seeing, in other words, valuing propagated criminally foreign influence branches in private, and valuing that in collusion with everything that's hurt by that, also inclusion as predators by that, through other natures and methods of maintaining criminal foreign influences, which you have to understand the simultaneous Native Americans, how their rights are forsaken and then taken to roles. That's what divided. It's not just divide and conquer. It's, in other words, before that, just the nature of it. Let's divide and conquer from its body, of its science relationship to itself. This is about the identity of volume. Its identity of relationship to itself and the value of that. Always. So this is about logic, is about the identity of volume, of its identity of relationship to itself, and of the value of that, which is a nature, which is a range, and which is further positive or negative in relationship to its complete nature that will only stay overall, while it's we're a semi-nature, we're in its complete nature, complete relationship to itself. We're filling a volume that is positive or negative to its perfect value progression. This is self-generating. Genesis is a science term. Alpha and Omega are juxtaposed simultaneously. Yin-yang. And this is left to right, right to left, simultaneously, distinctly and non-distinctly, because this identity was before matter value. It's related. So we're learning about identity nature. But we have identity thefts. But we have jobs, originally still you can't defend them. And us at the same time. So we come to where, see, all the worst negative things make it even easier to see. Positive's identity. And its course about what's going to cause positive or negative value in these progressions. This is the Santa Claus, as we'll see, with the ancient snow people. Once you see, in other words, our nature, Alpha and Omega, with the halo too. We'll come to this. New York game is what is on where everyone belief is for this to heal the identity and means to afford of nature in relationship to ground and to active body value discernment, and to progressions value discernment, and identity value discernment, and sequence nature. Sequence nature is value as a collection of simultaneous nature in relationship to itself. When we come to a battery, we come to polarity is there's a semi-nature relationship to the two sides of polarity that are not positive or negative. This is positive. This is temporary / lasting positive value as a nature. And so we'll examine this. And English is revealed to teach this. And using Allah's name. And using the Trinity. Each of the sciences were maintained through ulterior means, all victim predators, to spot. To each spot. Each age of correlation nature, each person, together, group, progressively, and sequentially. And this is from off campuses, took the ground of education, took the value of the volume of unity that could be maintained consciously as a criminal insidious nature, pseudo-positive roles to maintain that. And if you don't maintain that, they get hurt. So this is exploiting This made a criminal insidious nature rules machine. So what we could do by admitting this, not everyone will agree. So would they? Some people are so devastated they will agree now to make what's going to be afforded better and can survive next to an ocean where you can get hit by a hurricane. The pathology of the homes there is not outside of what was forced here before our founders' births, per what is recorded having stolen their identities. And this is a complex identity theft, because identity is science. That's the nature of volume that all others are the sequence nature relationship to, which is the identity that is filling our volume, our portion of it, in the range that we could see. This is correlation nature. So everyone's locked into a pathology of zoning laws, means they can afford, invested into agreements with that and stuff like that. So it's a headache. As and that's forced, shared, that's reliant upon other nations' positions with this too. Recorded the same exact organized crime method. That, just because you get to be a nation doesn't mean you're free yet. See. So we'll examine how Dolly Madison carries George Washington's picture out of the White House. The White House wasn't free yet. England wasn't free yet. There were fake faces with a whole bunch of nations shared, with a whole bunch of grouped identities of private and regular police, interbranch police and stuff like that, as negative value nature progression counters, and then justifications of that as victim predators. And that was known and that was cultivated to keep all sophistication. Whoever would try, they knew there people were going to come out of that, like our founders did. What they did that made us, what they did was hide the extent. They had the laws so sick and so deep and so shared that they couldn't see how everyone was just what built the suit and tie nations needed counters, all not understanding, because the nature of volume. If you're not valuing our species bonded value, invisible but still discernible value nature, identity of relationship to itself value, and the order to the finite means before and then as the order to and as the value of all finite at the same time, which ground is. For example, the Trinity has a value/value nature relationship to itself. This is algebraic consciousness. This is logic. So we're going to take over psychology here because they failed. And they're uncharged with recorded identity thefts, crime method roles, with overt criminal enterprises. And we're going to examine how this was used for their motivations recorded as needed lie progression, cover-up natures, interbranch, forging names, switching names. Behind what really is the problems with criminal justice and with policing of checking into that, recorded in collusion, how maintained to that. Intercampuses, all victims, but all victim predators. Instead, this is also what forgiveness is for, because the sequence shifts. And where and how the branches, various natures of courts grouped as the same nature, grouped to, and together are criminally involved through time. Human sensibilities, we'll examine this. We'll understand it before we come to. So this is the Campus Martius. This is pantheism. We're setting up the pantheism games. Whatever. In other words, to admit that we're in a tactically denatured relationship to nature that would have that value. And it recorded does. We don't have mandated law followed. Everyone's victims. See, the news, they're told, and the branches, they're told to value natures of positive. As victims, everyone reliant upon experts. See, in each job is with top-down agencies. That's what the president was trying to explain to you. You guys even know people involved with these natures of FBI directors, people associated with the international thing, like Robert Luskin, associated with the federal criminals, co-defendants of his in a 2006 case, associated with some of the police forms interbranch on-off CCSU, and military police, like with associated with Kovinski's family. I never tried to contact him in my life. And with Eric Burgess. And there are others with New Britain Superior Court, recorded confessed. Also involved with identity theft, sequence shifts, is a guy, Officer Hunter, involved with Eric Burgess, and a woman recorded confessed, involved with the court that also offered to have my father hold the deposition there, because former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, was the co-defendant. I didn't have a car, and I was another time. I didn't. I don't know. And these were the confessions tied to this are out of sequence too, and through time, because these are also people I don't know the names of and don't know at all. Like with Weathersfield, that made confessions about that spot, which also turned out to be a serial killer spot. And these also with Saudi treatments and with the Iraq war. So everyone stays invested to the defenses of identities in relationship to things like war, at the same time that are inseparable from what we were talking about with the Marcus positions, tactical ulterior, from Allah's, the Trinity's modern religion system. They're talking about, obviously, to an extent, to the great extent, they're talking about the criminal reengineering of the nature of sciences that before that nature of sciences that only could have been ulterior from these, with the relationships to each other that revealed the ancient republic for which we stand. Who clappy chant. So what I'm saying, this is not Roman. It was preserved through there. What revealed this was that and how the original nature of internation sciences was without criminal foreign influences. Or that helped them realize that the value of that, of areas and states sciences, nation sciences in our control, and the value of our species bond, only our control through how simultaneous nature. So ancients revealed the simultaneous nature, the identity that both all three parts of the Trinity share at once, as a nature of volume that is filling, that is being filled by this identity of value. The name of it is the value of all the people with religions not criminally foreign influence, and or not with that which is maintained what they call legally, because every the intersciences, there are criminally foreign influence fact treatments, convictions, with delusions, with premise treatments, and with sequence treatments, and with value discernment treatments that can't defend themselves and us at the same time from what is exploiting how everyone was wrought to quality of fact treatment nature. They're preventing mandated law. One of the biggest problems with this, with the abuses of boys and girls of each age is this: that's not letting identity thefts demonstrated from complete strangers facilitated. This is also programs with like you know what they did too, where they had a person that went to a private school with one of the schools with a Dr. Graham, a woman, recorded and confessed, involved with other doctors, with a state forensics place, with physical delusions and with evidence crime roles and identity theft crime roles, with that forensics place with a number of people from my town, involved with the state judicial branch offices, men and women criminally, and houses next to it, and cases through time. And this is through elections. This is with election crime acts not letting the forced sexual abuses of women and of kids in their families from being demonstrated. They forced that, and they forced it further when there was a principal sex offender. They also hid the police over here with a Dylan and the confessions of an untimely death tied to hospital clicks also tied to one on Trinity campus, because they were making confessions to me from drug clicks from people from my town that I never hung around with, and in the background, and people that were pretending other, tied to, you know, all exploit. There's a Joshua Julian who was on the Facebook page of the principal sex offenders campus. He was also recorded and confessed involved spreading rumors about lies about things that were proven wrong in cases that were brought up. They were pretending they didn't know that those things had been proven wrong in the deposition that was leading up to the 2006 case. That part of that case /S came around because it was proven that in the Trade Center attack context, just before the attack, the panel of judges had been shown papers that had been post-dated to appear late before the judges. And then it was proven afterwards that they'd been hand-delivered on time, time-stamped on time, the papers, and then in the Trade Center attack context, they'd been shown post-dated documents. That led to that was in the Manhattan Ninth Circuit. So this is tied to that led up to the 2006, but then there were depositions before that, and then there was a case my father won after I got out of high school, which an NLRB case, which is 230 local 230 is recorded then and now with Wethersfield police involved with sexual and with identity thefts and using Facebook interbranch for that. And then they hid that criminally in a case when they were still forcing the principal sex offender that way by not letting people speak. These are with Wethersfield police interbranch already before that, and then with that, forging names, switching names roles, putting fake arresting officers, switching, pretending to make mistakes on police reports by stacking that intercity. So then a whole bunch of databases have fake things, 10 narratives. You know what I'm saying? And all fake. And all as sex crime acts roles. Because evidence and identity theft crime acts roles, perjury crime roles in collusion with the rape thefts. And there's also, there are Joey Quest and there's a Fred Grisette who I had nothing to do with. And I recorded how they were involved with databases crimes, identity theft crimes, and that's with a Phil Cololo too, and with Delaferros, also by WTNH, recorded and confessed involved with crimes with the Wethersfield High School, the middle school further, and with the kids' schools. This is hurting each individual together, grouped progressively and sequentially. Male and female doctors also recorded and confessed delusions wrought not by accident. All these positions in private associated with prison cliques and intercampuses and hospital campuses, fire campuses, all criminally used. wire crime methods, mail crime acts, a Leahy family, pretend they knew me, pretend I had conversations with me that never were, through time, and with the courts criminally involved, like New Britain Superior Court. Also with their Facebook page with the Eric K-N-E-R-R. Also with the Kerr family, recorded and confessed involved with crimes with Jerry Miller too, on Facebook even. Recorded and confessed involved crimes with police with that pretend they filmed me growing pot with a drone. And as people recorded and confessed crime roles with overt criminal enterprises and sexual circles, recorded and confessed with direct, indirect ties to the witness protection program associated with that statement about the pretended growing pot in the porch that they saw. Because these are also the further sex offenders with the kids. See, but these are FBI. The former director of the FBI had crime roles with his federal criminals tied to him in that case that were against me intercity through time, like ahead of time, because they had one had a daughter in my grade, and then other one like Thaddeus Grabowski demonstrated and recorded and confessed in crime roles with two Mendez brothers, also involved with the interbranch forging names, pretending things recorded with the principal sex offenders cliques with the campus policing, also through time tied to people associated with Stop and Shops, and like I don't know if they're undercover where they go to communicate with it, and Town Line Drive, and Intercity one. So nothing against Stop and Shop, whatever. It's every place. They're using systems and putting fake things into databases, preventing mandated law. They're using Facebook as forced sex offender identity theft crime rules, not reported. They're using the terms like bully as to keep adults from being able to have a quality of fact-checking nature about the past per a crime method going through it, keeping criminally foreign influences branches, propagated, self-cultivated need to hide life progressions already in collusion with what is overt criminal enterprises involved, like with Fox News, recorded and confessed that they have crime roles with Los Solitos, undercover police associated with this. In other words, you can't be withstanding positions. I don't care if you have nuclear relationship, because the Russian families also recorded and confessed involved. I don't know the woman's name because she just made statements then that's part of the identity theft rackets. So we're going to examine how the mind is the nature of volume. Value is the nature of volume. Value is nature. Yeah. Meets a bear. We'll read to Santa Claus. So in other words, we can afford a nature of infrastructure by using the base, by connecting pantheism is a science of this, of the identity that is of and as all things. Boxing. It tells us things. Prepare as one. All we have to do is admit. See, then we make one sit. You get so some of those people will agree to give up the zoning laws and whatever like that, and then they'll make a position, make a temporary or lasting whatever business. And to bring means and to reveal means and to see, to discern means fathomable that are unfathomable right now by all, and not by accident. And for example, when we're talking about how we are a simultaneous nature exploited. And so we're going to use the New York game, which is a city train, is simultaneously value as a state and as a nation. And as the species volume. This is And we are value. We are individual value, body of value, discernment, and we're individual value, group / list sexes, and we are species volume bond in demonstration of the Trinity because of the identity of coming. There are also two. The two natures of simultaneous, two sequence natures, one before and one beyond the Trinity. See, the fifth pillar of Islam is about charity, reaching into a nature. See, this is the identity that is before ground as body of value discernment, as progressions value discernment, and as identity's value, positive or negative in relationship to this. That one exists, admit, that is of ground, that is with ground. See, we need a relationship. It's easy there too, Mexico Beach, because it's right near water, even though it's salt water. You know, in other words. Excuse me. Could set up a nature of infrastructure people could work from their house. For what people have to spend time countering anyways. Anyway. And hey. So play the newer game. I'll train. The Halloween game. Don't trick yourself. Hurry up. I'll just want to admit. Who will stand for a borough? Who will stand for a borough? You don't have to agree. Can't if anyone even tries to deny this, they have to demonstrate lies and physical delusions. That's why the branches have been stacking lies about me and pretending things in sequence without letting the sequence shift. So now Connecticut, various natures of court and people tied to their families and them are criminal with acts and sequence shifts and crimes with the databases and cases already, with all that tied to them, and with prisons and with intercampuses training them like CCSU, with interbranch families like associated with Trinity College, CCSU, associated with intermilitary, recorded identity theft clicks, little fakes, associated with his Dillon family, 3 times recorded involved hiding from what's coming to get them for their confessions and the crime acts they recorded, confessed by ties to them, criminally involved with. My name, steal my identity. I never had a verbal conversation with this guy in my life. Another kid, when I was a kid, stranger, the one who was some kid that went to a private school across the parking lot from the middle school. A few times he came into my middle school class. So that made a fact-cheating nature illusion that I know him. And that was a kid who, when I was in Tiger Cubs, before Cub Scouts, they had me go over. That's the only exception. That's the only reason I know. I didn't even recognize him. I didn't know. Then, in other words, they did that because there are other people in my middle school, like the 2 Mendez brothers. I don't know them. They pretended other, with a Joe DeMoro, also recorded, confessed, involved with crimes with kids, with doctors, and with people they put that weren't even in my English class, my 8th grade English class. They put people from a sexual circle in my that were in my class. Like a neighbor of mine who came in when I was in 4th grade, into my grade, Ray Colo, his cousin of Phil Colo is recorded and confessed, criminally involved with Bob Chase, who was recorded and confessed, put his hand up and pretended he was telling the truth before a New Britain Superior Court that used him because they were already criminally involved. Intercity through time. With all kind of predicate acts recorded. And now they're with this Joshua Julian that I don't know in my life, and recorded and involved with crimes with people around the Samuel Dick's house, associated with with the mail crimes cliques, with a Trade Center predicate acts, like with the Leahy family. That should be the fake conversations about the Trade Center attack, fake conversations about CIA, pretending that I talked to him or anybody about police equipment. They're also recorded because they were with offensive evidence reception crimes and criminal uses of sensibilities and of family members of people, because these are our family members that were the two brother police, Mendez brother police, also recorded, confessed, involved with people that were involved with abuses of women in my family and stuff like that. They have sensibilities. They put that guy in my class, him and his brother, now recorded with interbranch crimes, confessions tied to people with them, recorded proof, non-verbally demonstrated by them. They're pretending things recorded, interbranch, as police, families, criminally involved through time, associated with database crimes, drug crimes, with a project I did, which is a method that I'm still not getting. See, because they were breaking the laws. Also criminal uses of black people. The value of what black is, with fact treatment nature, I recorded in various ways. The only black bodies in our town were used criminally. And with the state judicial branch offices, with the street, and with elderly homes, criminally involved, and with the untimely deaths, with all these police forms and stuff, all this, all tied to my past neighbors too. They're what's his name? To Orion and his brother, and their mother, are their extended family member, old man, and they're involved with like the name switching, like they went from Cleese to Lewis, and they were involved. See, these are victims, predators of the Dillon clique, with the untimely deaths, with the identity thefts, database crime rolls. And it's also tied to all people criminally involved with houses around schools, with identity theft crime acts, like drug crime rolls, like with crimes with people that were put in my classes that I never had a conversation with, like Anthony Agnew around the corner from the Samuel Dick's house. Mike Pandolf also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated criminally involved with the interbranch police families, and uses of now Facebook to cover their live progressions. That's what they're maintaining polarity. They're maintaining all identities of law with no integrity as criminally foreign influence weapons. So what maintains this is an organized crime method that is exploiting our the identity of ground's relationship to itself. So our species could agree to bring value, temporary or lasting, at least to anywhere that gets hit by a hurricane. Because this also what was wobble simultaneously, we could agree to take over the nature of negative value nature progression as a value nature system. No. Which is tactically ulterior from the value nature system that we're in, because we can't help it. That's because this is demonstrating the value nature system itself is criminally foreign influenced, but it's not sourced by one, and it's completely excuse me. It's completely a fact cheating nature racket. Color. That's why color people of our species volume that were black and white and all other hues in collusion, because they knew that they were making people defend roles as fact treatment nature styles, as sequence treatment styles that can't defend that, in themselves from what keeps criminally foreign influence states and areas. Fact-cheating in nature and collusion against whoever wins the presidency, against anyone who speaks on politics, on critical things, intersciences, maintained from off campuses, already a part of engineering, recorded crime method, role. Can't defend Native American rights without understanding, without being demonstrating our nature of volumes, identity of relationship to itself, tactically obfuscated. I mean, tactically enslaved. Yes.